Good morning, everyone. I am Tracy. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you from schools and HQ to our SLS Symposium. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes. All members of the audience will be muted for the whole symposium. For colleagues from Haising Catholic School, please direct your questions to Fazira via WhatsApp. As for colleagues from other schools and HQ, if you have any questions, please send them via WhatsApp group chat, and my helpful colleagues, Alvin and Boon Hin, will assist you. Please note that today's session is being recorded. For the best viewing experience, view it side-by-side speaker mode and adjust the size of each view to your preference. You are advised to change the view now. Please note that today's session is being recorded. This is the rundown for today's symposium. Very broadly speaking, we will be sharing about why we choose SLS, what is new on SLS, and what is coming to SLS. So let's start the symposium proper with an address by our principal, Mr. Daniel Ang.
Good morning, colleagues from Haising Catholic School, as well as colleagues from other schools joining us, and our MOE HQ colleagues as well. Thank you for joining us in this SLS Symposium, which is the third installment of EdTech Professional Development, one we have held each year at the end of 2020, 2021, and now 2022. I apologize for only being able to join you in recording. I'm attending a HQ branch retreat today, but I suppose it is fitting that I appear in recording for a symposium such as this. So, why SLS? Well, I think SLS is an example of the growth mindset that we require in tech-enabled teaching and learning. We are in R17 today, and we are expecting R18 at the end of this year. Back when it started, SLS was basic. Just like when we first started out on our journey using technology in teaching and learning. There were many things we could not do, yet. As time went on, different functionalities were developed and released into SLS. In that same way, we have grown much since the circuit breaker days, and our baselines with regard to TNL with technology are now higher. So why SLS? Well, SLS continues to grow and continues to be at the forefront. It is far more than the simplistic and simple repository or LMS that we had experienced in the earlier days. And I dare say it will continue to be at the cutting edge. As we progress, our understanding of how tech enhances teaching and learning also progresses. Haising Catholic School started with Icon Google Classroom. IGC is a different tool, one that provides simpler functionalities, and in doing so, it can be fairly easy to use. But it has limitations in enhancing teaching and learning in a deeper manner. In comparison, SLS should enable a teacher who is serious about enhancing teaching and learning to do so through its more powerful functionalities and content, which is also supported by our HQ partner divisions. We also hear that SLS will be integrated with IGC at some point, hopefully soon. So for the next couple of hours, please relax as our colleagues bring you through some of these functions identified and placed in the context of Haising Catholic School students and teachers' needs. Enjoy.
Thank you, Mr. Ang. Now I will share an overview of the EdTech journey that Haising Catholic School has taken thus far, following which I will lay out the direction of our school is heading in our technology vision, then explain why we think SLS will be pivotal in supporting our needs. Let's recap our EdTech journey thus far. One of the most significant milestones this year is the rollout of personal learning devices to the whole school. This means that every student now comes to school equipped with a PLD that has created new ways for students to interact with us teachers, the content we deliver, and also each other. But of course, we couldn't just equip the students and not the teachers. And so, our main toolkit to help us infuse the use of technology in our lessons was introduced during the last year's EdTech PD. This is the Tech-Infused Lesson Framework, which helps us to organize our learning materials, as well as use relevant tools to deliver our lessons and assess our students' learning. Thus, with the PLDs in students' hands and the TIL framework in ours, all teachers in Haising are able to confidently plan and deliver lessons that use technology minimally at this basic level. I also like to bring to mind our learning from our PD sessions this year. The PD team has been training us to design learning experiences. The concept of a learning experience breaks our habit of thinking, of teaching and learning within the frame of single lessons. Instead, it allows us to see teaching and learning within a sequence of activities that could span across multiple lessons. Different sequence of activities allow students to interact with the lesson content and their classmates differently and thereby enhancing their learning. So far, the learning experiences we have been trained in are acquisition, collaboration, discussion, and inquiry. We will learn 2 more learning experiences next year. To help us plan different learning experiences, we had to learn new tools. These tools are the SLS Pedagogical Scaffold 2.0 and the Design Map. The SLS PS 2.0 guides us to include active learning processes in the learning experiences we create. Additionally, the Design Map helps us visualize the range of interactions our students go through during each learning experience. While it can be tedious, such deliberate planning could really help us diversify the types of experiences we create for our students. As we start applying these planning tools into our practice next year, we will also look to sharpen our assessment literacy. So, what is the path ahead for Haising Catholic School with regards to our use of technology? In what way do we need to grow as a school? Well, for teachers, the goal is to be competent in designing and facilitating tech-mediated learning experiences and learner-centered assessment, supported by an innovative and collaborative culture. In simple terms, it means that the learning experiences we create, not just individual lessons, should make use of technology to help us achieve our learning outcomes. We also need to consider how technology can assist us in making better and sharper assessment of our students' learning. So, to summarize, Haising teachers' goals next year is to be able to create learning experiences that leverage technology to enhance learning interactions and assessment. It does sound like a lot, but not to worry, we'll be creating these learning experiences as a team in our departments, not alone. Now, given that Google Classroom has been our main tool for technology-infused lesson in Haising, you might be wondering questions such as, can I use Google Classroom to create learning experiences? If so, how do I create learning experiences on Google Classroom? Or I need to learn more advanced features, where do I begin? However, let's challenge one important assumption. Is Google Classroom an appropriate tool for creating learning experiences? As it turns out, Google Classroom may not be the most effective tool that we have on hand. As a learning management system, Google Classroom behaves very much like a folder that helps us organize our class materials. This has made Google Classroom very easy for us teachers to use because we are very familiar with using filing systems in our classrooms. However, can you imagine using Google Classroom to conduct a learning experience? By definition, a learning experience will require a range of different activities meaning we will need to engage our students through a range of materials in a particular sequence. Immediately, I can hear in my head the question that my students will be asking me. Sure, which material we are looking at now? Sure, where to find this material? Sure, I haven't finished this activity yet. Sure, what is happening now? It just will be too confusing. Thankfully, SLS is designed specifically as teaching and learning platform to address these challenges of creating learning experiences. SLS allows us to sequence and pace our activities, meaning the teachers can choose when and how our students interact with which materials. Not only is it easier to deliver a learning experience on SLS, it is also easier to create learning experiences on it too. This is because SLS has a large pool of curricular-aligned resources created by CPDD. This means that we will not need to create learning experiences from scratch. Instead, we can focus our time and energy on looking through the existing videos, quizzes, and even lesson packages that we adopt and adapt to learning experience we want to create. As you can see on the screenshot on the right, we have extensive catalogs of SLS resources, all categorized by subject, learning outcomes, and stream. How useful is that? The reasons to use SLS are summed up nicely in a recent speech by Minister for Education Chan Chun Sing at the Teaching Scholarship Presentation Ceremony this year. First, Minister Chan shared that we will need to use technologies that allow our students to pace their own learning and learn according to their capabilities. Not only that, but these technologies should also enrich the learning experiences of our students. And finally, teachers must be able to pool and share their teaching resources across the education system. With these goals in mind, it is hard to imagine a single platform that can meet our current needs, but SLS can, as it is a locally designed platform that is customized to support our needs. And yes, we are aware of the trade-off too. As a relatively young technology, it can be rough on the edges and challenging to use. However, we also have to remember that as we learn to use SLS and its features, SLS is growing too, meaning that when time and practice, SLS will become a more powerful tool as we become more competent designers of learning experiences. On that note, I shall now pass the time to Rafika and Mokmin, who will show us a glimpse of just how much SLS had grown in the past year while we were using Google Classroom. Mokmin, please.